Hi, thank you for watching a new video blog. I have been bushcrafting or camping in the woods now for about a week. I spent many nights alone in the forest and I was fine. There has not happened a single thing to me. It's funny because people think that when you go into a forest by yourself, you have to be really careful. It's really dangerous. Um, I was the same. I thought the same when I was years ago. If you say me, take your tent and go in the forest for a week, I, I would be paying you thousands of euros to not do it. That amount of fear um, did I have for nature, for the forest. Um, People will, but still they will say, okay, yeah, but what about this animal or that, or they can, somebody can, you're just all by yourself, nobody can hear you. But first, the animals are not a problem. Animals will leave you alone. Of course, the first nights I had also this fear, what if a wild pig will come and do something to me, bite me, or destroy my tent, or whatever, this or that. Of course, it didn't happen. The animals leave you alone. They're more afraid of you than you of them. So, anytime there's an animal around me and I make some noise, they will just run away. Even if they come closer, they're not going to do anything because there's no threat to them. Because I stay on this place. I'm not moving. I'm just sitting there, and they respect that. They have a lot of respect for people. They know we shouldn't mess with people because we're on a different level than them. So the animals are not really a problem. I don't have any problem with any animal. Besides one bird that is just knocking on the, I don't know the word, but for the bird, but it's just knocking on the tree, and in the morning it wakes me up really early. At times, not always. So no, the animals are a problem. People, you think that people will go into the forest if and they see a tent and go there and mess with you. Most people are afraid when they see somebody camping in the forest because they think it's homeless or a drug addict or somebody else that you need to be careful with and you shouldn't be get close to. So yeah, of course I had the same fear. Well, what if there's somebody that will come and do something to me or whatever? But it's not really happening because it's just they don't have a reason to come to the forest at night. So they will not come. They'll go there. They can do more horrible. If they want to do horrible things, they choose a city. And in the end, if you just think about it, I was thinking about it. Where does all the crime happen? In the forest? Well, sometimes, but most of the crime is happening right in the city. People get robbed. People get stabbed. People get raped. Sorry, YouTube, for all the bad words, but people get killed in the city. When I read news, if I read news, I don't read news, and it's a very smart thing to do. But if I do read news once in a while, or somebody is confronting me with news, then it's always that there's somebody has been stabbed, somebody has been killed, somebody has been dying of drugs, somebody has been raped, traffic accidents, horrible fires in houses. So you don't hear this a lot in forests. Of course, there's not a lot of people living in forests, but the chance that that something will happen in a forest is, in my opinion, way lower than what it would happen in a city. Because in a city I can be a victim as well. There's just people that randomly stab people or attack people. I have been almost been robbed when I was younger in the city, in the city center. It was just, there was so many people around me, but it still could happen. I was smart. I did a trick and I ran away. But how many kids get robbed? Now I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen that that just some guys that they just had a knife and they threaten teenagers, and they just gave their bikes and they just say, oh, okay, here's my bike, bye. So the city is not safe at all. The city is you should have fear in the city, and still people go out like, oh, nothing can happen to me. But the chances are so high that something will happen to you in the city. I haven't been talking about the terroristic attacks. It always happened in the city. Always the cities where the place where it took place, because of course there's many people around, so you have a high chance of succeeding. That's the thing. Cities are absolutely the most dangerous place on earth, and still people think that if you go with your tent in a remote place, in a forest, that it's really dangerous, something can happen. It's just sad to me, because like I say, I don't follow news, but if I read news, for example, every time I read that somebody in a city has been stabbing, robbing, raping, hurting